Good morning, good afternoon, good night, What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon Miller, and as always, thank you very much for joining me for another episode of Ups and Downs, the show where we do indeed go through WWE programming, and we give the good bits an up, and we give the bad bits a down. I want to thank everybody who reached out yesterday and told me to go and buy bigger clothes, but as I always say, I've told this before, I'll tell you again right now, and I'll tell you again in the future, I shop at Baby Gap. Those sizes only go up to a certain degree, so what do you want from me? I mean, there's only so much I can do. Come on. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about my wardrobe right now. We're talking about the SmackDown post-Survivor Series. Let's up those downs. SmackDown started with Charlotte Flair coming out being an absolute badass and getting cheered for it. Can we just now please accept that if you want to get somebody over as a babyface, you should probably allow them to do stuff like this? I think I was meant to take her as a heel, but let me tell you this, I did not. Charlotte said she was proud of everything she had done to Ronda Rousey at the pay-per-view, that she did it for SmackDown, that she did it for The Rock. No, she didn't say that. Said that she did it for Becky Lynch, and then eventually Paige came out and fined Charlotte $100,000 because during this attack, she'd also beaten up some referees. Don't know why we needed that. We kind of just changed WWE rules once again. I've seen loads of wrestlers beat up referees and nothing happens, but here we needed some sprinkling, so that's where the sprinkling came from. Flair also said that if she needs to beat up Ronda Rousey again, she'll do it at TLC, which is happening in December, don't you know? And then the Iconics came out, and I'm sure right now they really regret making that decision. Why? Because she beat Billie Kay after the natural selection and looked at Peyton Royce and said, "Oi, you get in the ring, I want a match with you too." And she got pummeled as well. I mean, this second one did end with a DQ when both Iconics jumped in the ring. That wasn't enough to stop Charlotte. Eventually, she gave them both a double spear and chucked them over the announce table. This is how you book people to get a good reaction, WWE. I know we can't do it all the time. That would be ridiculous, and you get diminishing returns. But it is a hell of a lot better than that 50-50 booking nonsense that makes my eyes well up and tears come out of them. It's called crying. A quick backstage promo with Rey Mysterio followed where he said he doesn't want to just be another one of Randy Orton's victims. That's not how it works, Ray. You don't get to decide whether or not you're going to be a victim. Usually, it just happens that I'll give you an up because you're Rey Mysterio and I like you, but I will also make a quick note to say I don't really like these face-to-camera backstage promos anymore because the words that come out of people's mouths, they get stranger and more unrealistic as the weeks, months, and years go by. I don't know what happened next. It was surreal to say the least. But I don't think I liked it. I'm not 100% sure, but as I'm not sure, down. Miz was out for Miz TV and his guest was Shane McMahon. And the Miz basically spent the entirety of this putting McMahon over because he had a question for him and that question was simple. Shane, I want us to be tag team partners. The commissioner of SmackDown had no interest in doing that. I don't blame him. He was selling his injuries from Survivor Series and I think he was the only person to do so. So that's 2 thumbs for Shane McMahon. Miz insisted though and actually brought out 2 jobbers known as the Bryan brothers. And you want to know what happened? Of course you do, that's why you click play. If I didn't tell you, I wouldn't be doing my job. One of these jobbers rolled up the Miz and he lost. Shane never got involved and just looked mystified on the apron. But I don't really know where this is going. For starters, or number one, there was barely any reference to the fact that Raw had beaten SmackDown 6-0. Even though they didn't, and it was 6-1 because damn it, hashtag the pre-show matters. And 2, my only takeaway was, well, I guess we're building to the Miz versus Shane McMahon. And I don't know if I want that, especially if that happens at WrestleMania 35. Imagine one of the matches at WrestleMania 35 is Shane versus the Miz. I mean, you tell me. Then, because it is Thanksgiving, we had to have the usual Thanksgiving-related match. And the worst part of all of this is that it was the New Day versus the Bar. Why do I have to see this again? I've seen this more times than I've seen my own face, and I am not a young person, and that just shouldn't be possible. Down. The stuff beforehand was alright, especially because R-Truth was dressed as the gobbledygooker. Xavier Woods actually had 6-1 on his top, which is hilarious because he was basically wearing clothes that was promoting a loss, and Big E was going on about breasts, even though he meant turkey breasts. And before anybody goes, but Simon, you didn't like this stupid event over here, but you like this stupid event here, of course, that's how it works. It all depends on the performer and how they pull it off. And Big E, he's such a strange but funny dude. Most things that he does do make me laugh. And yes, the New Day won after Big E had punched Sheamus with a turkey, which I assume means we have to have another match between all of these people because the tag team champions lost in a non-title match. And then Wrestling Logic says the next match is for the titles. I'm going to have to take this skin, rip it off and throw it on the floor, just so at least I can no longer see my face, because I'm going to have to keep seeing this. Oh, and afterwards, Cesaro got covered in food. I'd rather be blasted out of a cannon. Randy Orton then cut another one of these weird promos saying that he is going to beat Ray up so badly, all of us fans are going to be left disgusted. That sounds horrible, but yeah. Asuka and Naomi went after Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose after this, and look, it wasn't bad, it was fine, but it was one of those matches that kind of lacks direction. It kind of feels like it was just put here for filler, and we feel like we need to try and get a storyline out of this. But look, it was decent enough. Again, there was nothing bad here. I would say I enjoyed it to a certain extent. Can have it up. The narrative here, of course, is that Sonya and Mandy keep falling out, and that continued because at one point Mandy Rose wanted to tag Sonya Deville in, and she wasn't on the apron because she'd been knocked off, and they almost clashed at one point, and Asuka took advantage of that, and she made Sonya Deville tap out. Surely this will end with the friends breaking up and having a match, then WWE will forget about them, because that just seems to happen a lot. Another Last Sullivan is coming promo next, and yes, I know how that sounds, and if you didn't pick up on it, rewind, and you can watch it again. So we don't know if he's actually going to Raw or SmackDown because these adverts are airing on both shows. Also, a little fun fact for you, apparently the rumor mill states that Vince McMahon saw these trailers and said, look, we should start airing them now, even though the plan was to actually put them on after TLC. So there you go. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And now we move on to the Daniel Bryan promo, and there ain't no two ways about it. That is getting a damn up. Let's not pretend otherwise. Everything here was excellent. Whoever in the past said that Daniel Bryan didn't know how to cut a promo must have been off their loon, because he absolutely does. And he did all of this in the third person because he was telling a tale about himself while also acting like he was the narrator. That is damn good. The reason that Daniel is now an angry man is because of everything that happened 3 years ago. He gave up on his dreams during that period before the fans gave up on him. Now, quick side note, that's not actually true, but Bryan was so believable in everything he said, I was able to go, I guess he has gone off the rails. I guess he has lost it, because what he's saying, well, it's not true, but he believes it's true. That's what good heels do. He sat at home and struggled, and he had to go to counselors and therapists who all told him just to move on, but he refused, and now he's climbed back to the top of the mountain. And given that he had to do all of that by himself, he's now going to do whatever he has to do to make sure he stays there. Damn right, Daniel Bryan. I know you're meant to be a bad guy, but I love you. I believe in you. We're going to go all the way. We did only get a couple of mentions of his fight with Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, and that sucked. I think Corey Graves mentioned it once, and Daniel Bryan dropped it into his promo. But the focus here was clearly AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan that's happening at TLC for the World Heavyweight Championship. But it was a great segment and absolutely underlines Daniel Bryan as a bad guy, and I ain't got no problems with that. He even said the yes movement is dead. Honestly, go and watch this promo. I am very excited about heel Daniel Bryan. It was then main event time, which was Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio, and overall, this ticked all my boxes, which again sounds dodgy, don't worry about it. Although I do have a few problems we'll get to, but either way up. As mentioned before, I really just do enjoy seeing these two have matches. They have a certain chemistry, and the added twist here of Randy Orton trying to rip Rey Mysterio's mask off, it just worked, especially because by the end, that thing had come right off. There was even loads of highlights within this, even though it was a match that was happening on a random episode of SmackDown. At one point, Rey went through that slide under the bottom rope splash thing, and Randy Orton caught him and RKO'd him into the Mets. Orton then hit another RKO for the win, and grabbed Rey's mask and lifted it up in the air as a trophy. Now, we didn't really see Rey's face. I mean, you could a little bit if you go back and pause and watch, but don't do that. It will take far too much of your time. And I think we just sparked a nice little feud here. Although the bit I was concerned about was, why has Rey Mysterio come back to television and instantly lost a bunch? Because he really has. On top of that, if I'm being a massive pedant, and sometimes I like to be a massive pedant, it's fun. We had a beatdown angle afterwards, which wasn't too dissimilar to everything Charlotte had done to Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. And if you want to make those things feel special, it's probably best not to book them too close together. I'm just saying, what do I know? Nothing, ball dude, internet, you've heard it all before. That was SmackDown. That was the end. And I'll say this, it's a better show than Raw, and actually those 2 hours flew right by like a plane, taken off into the sky. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's SmackDown. And you like the video, you share the video, you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling and hit that bell so you get notifications. Always sounds weird. Hit that bell and head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles and follow WhatCulture on Twitter. at WhatCulture WWE. Slap me. My name is Simon from WhatCulture, and before you say, Simon, where's the golden ups? Where's the brown downs? They've got to be earned. They're now like Dave Meltzer's 5-star ratings. If I get through a show and I don't think anything deserved a golden up or a brown down, I ain't going to give it. And that will work because when they do happen, we'll all smile. It'll feel like peaches and cream. And everybody likes peaches and cream. If you've never had peaches and cream, make that your goal for today. Eat some peaches and cream. See you soon.